Hey HBF Church family, it's Brian. Just wanted to come to you today and give you a little update. We arrived this morning from the Dominican Republic, and so just wanted to come to you and let you know we're here. Everything is good. Had a great trip. Missed the weather pattern. I don't know if it's going to be a hurricane or not, but there's a tropical storm that's hitting the island. It actually was coming in, and just after we left and flew away from the airport, it started raining. And Lee told me this morning that the power's out for 13 hours and they're running their, fortunately they were able to keep their food refrigerated off a generator he bought just before we got there. And so that's a blessing for them. But they are going to close down the country and see how this storm goes. So be praying for that. But we had a great trip, and Mickey and Pam did a great job teaching, leading people to Christ. We had 120 bags of provision that we handed out over 3 days, so 40 each day. And with that, we saw, I think, just over 80 salvations. And you might think, well, sure, they're going to pray the prayer of salvation because they're getting food. But it really wasn't like that. We were going to give them food either way. They didn't have to pray. We did give people food that didn't pray. And so I can't tell you how many were obviously sincere in their hearts, but it does appear that there were a lot of sincere souls, people hungering, as much or more for spiritual food as for the physical food. So appreciate everyone just praying. I also wanted to thank all those that gave. There's a lot of people, whether it was walking tacos or sponsoring people, or just pitching in to help the trip, help with the bags of provision to cover the costs. The trip was a little more expensive probably than we thought, so that all really came in. The bags of provision, of course, were mission critical. We were going to try to do 30 of those. The team, our little team of 3 or 4 people, because Pat and Lee was going to be able to go if his passport came in, and obviously it didn't. So we were going to, try to, take care of that and on top of our expenses. But as it ended up, we were able to go well over that number because of your gifts. So that made a huge difference, and it made a big difference in the ministry down there. So you probably heard the updates after we did the bags of provision. It wasn't all of the bags weren't done. We still had 40 more to go. But after giving away 80 bags, we invited them to a movie night, and Lee showed a story of Nicodemus from the Chosen movie, preached, and man, it was so cool. It started off as though it was going to be a big flop. We went out, invited people. Time comes around. Of course, it's Latin America, and nobody shows up. Heather was visibly disappointed. I had all this work and had put all this effort. Nobody was showing, and then men show up. I mean, grown men walk in. A couple of them, and then 3 or 4 show. Next thing you know, there's like 5 men sitting there ready for this movie, and we're all kind of like looking at each other like, wow, this is unique. And then, of course, after the men, then come the women. And then a half hour in or so, we started the movie, and then within an hour, that place was packed with people. And they all were just riveted to the movie. And when we got done, Lee was able to preach a great short message and invite them back the next night for Bible study. And after that next day, after we gave out the remaining provisions and prayed with those folks that did receive Christ, we came back that night, and there was there was a small nucleus of women and children that showed up, and then next thing you know, the men show up. And before it was over, Lee had a good amount of men, women, and a good amount of children for his Bible study. And so that primed the pump for our Sunday. He has a Sunday evening service right now, and he continued on that Sunday night as we were there for church. And so just keep praying. That was really their first, since they've been back and reestablished after her back surgery, that's their first initiative in this barrio, in this new building. And it was really edifying, and it was because of your partnership. And that's really why I want to take some time. This is a video that'll probably go public, but I'm not just trying to push it out. I'm sending this to HBF people because this is about HBF. You guys really advanced the ball here in the DR. And I've been on a lot of trips, and we've seen trips like this in Arista and places where we invest. You really don't know how it's going to go. You hope it goes well. It looks like it's going well, and then 10 years later, you look back and you go, "Wow, that was important." I think that's where we are with the DR. So just be praying about your part in the DR in the future. This is a place where we can continually take trips. It's it's reasonable, and you can get there. And so be praying about your part. Next year we're going to be purchasing the field. Maybe you need to be praying about purchasing a ticket or getting your passport. Or if not this trip, think about another trip. If you're somebody who is excited about leading people to Christ, this is your trip. You will be able to share the gospel and lead people to Christ. It's outstanding. So that's really all I wanted to share with you. This is a long video, so I'm going to shut up. But it was good to go. Thank you all for your support. There'll be more updates on Sunday from Pam and Mickey, so you'll want to be there for that. Look forward to seeing y'all soon. I'm back on today, HBF tonight. It'll be good. So God bless you. We'll see you soon.